stubble burning. This topic always emerges during the month of November and October in India. Basically, it is the region, Delhi region and the Haryana side region faced this issue, that is the stubble burning, and we have a lots of pollutant in the environment due to this burning. So what are the reasons behind it? Why this emerge as a problem and why we are unable to avoid this issue in our northern part of the country? How this emerge? This topic has been taken from the article of the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so from there I have taken some information, some machinery that is being used for the purifying the air and all, and we have taken from the various source. So as recently that environment pollution, that is the Prevention and Control Authority, has written to the chief secretaries of Punjab and Haryana urging them to address the issue of stubble burning urgently. And you will see during this month various construction based industries are banned. Why these are banned? What are the issues? Moving ahead, we will see in this lecture. So as I have said that in the month of October and November, air temperature reduces significantly, and during this time only we face the issue of the stubble burning. Why? See, first just try to understand what exactly is a smog. See, when in the winter as the temperature cools down, the water moisture comes closer to the earth. Okay, comes closer to the earth. In summer also this comes closer to the earth because the temperature during the night falls, and as the temperature during night falls, you will feel cool in the morning. But what happens in the summer, sun's temperature are high, and as the sun temperature are high, these vapor get evaporated, and ultimately after morning in the 7 or 8 from different regions, you will see that the environment is clear, you will get a clear view. But this does not happen in winter. Right now this issue is talking, I am not mixing dust in it. Okay, so in winter what happens, when the water droplets is nearer to the ground and the sun's rays are unable to penetrate those droplets, so ultimately what happens, we did not get a clear view and we get a formation of fog. So fog is a general term, like this term is emerged especially for the valley regions where the mountains are present. From mountainous regions to the valley regions, what happens, let us suppose this is a mountain, in the daytime this temperature is huge. The albedo of this mountain is huge. Albedo means reflection of the energy is very huge. So ultimately what happens, this top does not get too much heat because the most of the energy is getting reflected from here, it is not absorbing it. Okay, that's why we say albedo is very high. So if you go to a region where ice is too much present and the sun is shining, you will see people are wearing different kind of aspects. That is why, because the sun rays are coming and the most of the rays are reflecting back because of the ice, and it has a very high energy to that's why we say that ice has a more albedo. Albedo means the kind of reflection of energy, that whatever the energy comes, it reflected back. So what amount of energy is reflected back, that is not an albedo. So if a thing has a more intensity of reflecting back of the energy, we will say that it has a high albedo. So ice has the highest albedo because it reflects most of the energy. Similarly the mountain has. So this is already cooler, and in the night time the weight of these droplets are high and this falls below to the valley. Okay, so you will see there is a formation of fog here. So especially fog comes from this place. Okay, now in the city we also see fog. As in the winter, these droplets came close to the ground and the sun rays are unable to penetrate those droplets, and ultimately we will see a not clear vision in the morning, or in the sometimes even it will extend to the daytime if the sun rays are not present or covered with the cloud on that day. Okay, so what happened, but what is the issue is that in that fog also our vehicle or industry will work, and as soon as this vehicle and industry will work, they will produce pollution, they will produce pollutant in the environment. And when this pollutant and when this water droplet get mixed together, when the mixed with the water droplet present in the environment, then this will form your smog, that we call it as a smog. Then it will form your smog, and that is the problem. This create that vision, it makes completely absolutely 90% opaque, that people are unable to see, and even the pollution has very high during that time. And this issue mainly observed during in the northern period, during this October November in Delhi region. Why? See, Delhi is a small, the area of Delhi is not very large, but the pollution, the car, the vehicle is moving around very high. And during this month, parali, that is a stubble burning, is going to happen. So this stubble burning is nothing but your dust, and during this as the temperature cools down, this will mix together, that water vapor, water droplets, and this dust particle will mix together, and ultimately it will suspended in the environment of that region, and this create a problem. This is the main issue. So fog is not a problem, but when you mix dust with the fog, it will lead to the formation of a smog, and that is the problem. That's why during the month of October November, we will see in this slide also that industry and various construction worker will be banned. So moving ahead, I have explained you various things with the aspects of geography too, and with the aspects of this environment and this slide too, that current affair. Okay, so moving ahead, so in the months of October and November, air temperature reduces significantly and the pollutants are tending to stick to near to the ground levels, and it is not only in Delhi but all the northern belt is suffering from the pollution. Why? One reason also that we don't have in the northern region, we don't have a sea bridge and land bridge. So if there is a sea bridge and land bridge, ultimately your environment or your temperature will be maintained. Okay, so shifting will occur, but in the landlocked region we don't see. So moving ahead, we will see all these things. So vehicular emissions, different causes of pollutions are like vehicles emissions, dust particles, industrial emissions, stubble burning, and the main issue is the 2.5 size of the particle that is present suspended in the environment is the main issue, because these particles are so small that it can, through respiration, it can enter into your body, and through entrance it can even enter into a small tissue. And when these dust particles into that tissue, that makes a complex situation, and you will face a problem even up to the cancer. So that's why PM 2.5 you will see a most dangerous one. So PM 2.5 is the most dangerous because it is so small that it is unable to detect and easily enter to the body complex tissues through lungs. So even sometimes if the rain occurs and this 2.5 particles is suspended in the environment, many times even the rain droplets are unable to capture those dust and make them settle on the ground. These are so small. Sometimes they escape, and sometimes if the rain is very heavy, then all the suspended particles will be settled down. But during the month of October and November, we don't see usually rainfall there. That is the one issue. So northern India is an inland area, as I have already explained, that there is no land bridge and sea bridge kind of situation. Due to lack of land bridge and sea bridge, we will see that we call it as a land bridge, and that is inland area. So why inland area? See, when a place is nearer to the sea, when a place is nearer to the sea and this is land, in the daytime the air will flow from sea to land. So these air are loaded with water vapor, and ultimately you will see, you will get a mostly frequently rainfall also, and the temperature are down. And in the daytime, as the land temperature are high, so in the night time you will see air will flow from land to sea, and that will be called as a land breeze. Why this happens? This is because of a difference of temperature. As temperature move from high pressure to low pressure, we will discuss all those things in the geography section separately, but I'm explaining you that land bridge and sea bridge kind of situation are not present in the northern belt. In the northern belt, okay, just ignore this drawing part. Here there is no sea bridge and land bridge. That's why it is a landlocked region, inland region. Okay, so as a result of these are dry, which will lead to significant emission of dust particles as a major source, and construction sector are well in the month of November and October are immediately banned to use in the Delhi region. So if there is any construction or industries, because they will release pollutants in the environment, and ultimately this will create a situation of smog kind of, and ultimately these are get banned during this month. So due to the lack of land bridge and sea bridge, we call it as a inland. So what are the measuring parameters? In what way we measure those parameters, that this is the pollutions or what are the different gases and all? Okay, so pollution does not persist for a longer period of time in coastal region. Due to why? Due to land bridge and sea bridge. As I've explained, in the land bridge maybe rain will occur or the wind will blow to the sea, so all your dust particles or any pollutants will go to the sea and they will settle down into the sea level. But these kind of situations does not, even dust particles are not present too much in those regions, because these are regions where you will see frequent rainfalls. But in the landlocked region, in the inland regions, you don't see rainfall too much. Ultimately these lands are dry and you will see dust particles here and there. Okay, so the measuring parameters who measures in India, that is the National Air Quality Index, NAQI, National Air Quality Index, and National Ambient Air Quality Standards. These are the two parameters that are said to measure the pollutions in the environment. These are the two parameters. That is the National Air Quality Index, that index that the data that is produced through this mechanism, and the National Ambient Air Quality Standard. So NAQI measures which type of gas? O3, ozone, NO2, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and lead. This index measures these types of gas, and if you are able to remember those gas name, it will be beneficial for your exam. But just consider, if your exam is in the month of October, November, during that time, or if it is in the news, try to remember those, because this type of questions have come in the UPSC exam related to those data. And National Ambient Air Quality Standards, this consists all measurements of NAQI. It means that it consists O3, NO2, SO2, CO, ammonia, and lead. These all are included in NAQI, and few additives. Another is benzene, benzopyrene, arsenic, and nickel. These are also included. Along these things, these are also included. Okay. Now we will move to the stubble burning. From where this issue came? Why this is so much in the news? Because many regions used to do that. But why this is a problem in northern India? Stubble in the northern India, we call it as a parali also. Okay, what is it? So it is the residue generated after the harvesting of the paddy or the rice crops. See, what happens when you collect rice from it, your these parali, that is the residue, is settled on the land only, and ultimately after that there is a season where you have to sow rabi crops. That is the duration from that farmers are not getting too much time to remove those residue. So ultimately what they do, they set fire on that land, and this residue get burnt within a small period, a small time. Okay, but this create a problem, this create a pollution in the environment, and this effect in the burning of that stubble or parali in the Haryana or the Punjab side, we will see that effect of those regions into Delhi. We can see the effect till Delhi, even far from it. Okay, so that is the problem. So rabi crops, what do you understand? Rabi crop, when rabi crops grown, that is in the winter crops, that is wheat. Let us suppose example as a wheat that is sown in the month of November and sometimes in October too, and these are harvested in the month of March and April. Okay, this is not an issue. March and April harvesting is not an issue, but that sowing is an issue. In November month we have to sow winter crops, that is rabi crops. And now Kharif crops, that is monsoon, that is rice, that is a paddy. Late June, like monsoon strike around 10th June on the coastal line of the India, and after that in the late June till 9th June, when the rainfall, then the monsoon reach those regions, after that they sow rice. So these are harvested during the month of October and November. Now see here, rabi crop is telling that I will be sown in the month of November, and your Kharif crop is saying that I will be harvested in the month of October and November. Why October, November? If the monsoon reaches earlier or on time, then it may be in the October month, and if monsoon reached late, then you will be harvest your crops in the month of November. Now what happens? See, Kharif crops will be harvested in the November, and you have to sow rabi crops too in the month of November. This is a problem. The lack of time to remove all the stubble, that is the lack of time for sowing another crops for the next season. Farmers usually feel easy to burn those stubble, not to remove it by mechanically and all, because it will take time, and your rabi crops will be late. This is the main problem, and thus they used to burn those stubble. This is the main problem only. Okay, and another jazz season, that is the summer cucumber and all, you will see. So due to this short time between rabi and kharif crops, farmer burns this residue. And Punjab, Haryana, western part of UP, neighboring country of even Pakistan, from Pakistan also we saw the effect in our regions, because they also used to do the same things, because it's the old practice. So all follow this process, and this impact our health, visibility, atmospheric conditions and all. So this is something called stubble burning, and this is a problem for us, and thus we have to overcome, and there are many devices are coming. First, government is trying, helping them to not the burn stubble by different schemes or spreading informations or news, knowledge that your stubble burning create problem in those regions, and it create pollution in the environment. Okay, so now we will see what are the technologies that we are using to overcome these issues. One is the torrification. It is a technology, that is a Swedish technology, is still under trial phase of India is trying, and in this all, that the biomass, that is the residual waste, including that stubble that we left behind, that is the residue of the paddy, all are accumulated and burned to form something like coal structure, carbon form, and this is the final byproduct and generated in the and can be utilized in the areas where we need to produce energy, like coal are used in the iron and in steel industries and all. So if we use this torrification method, it is still under trial, and ultimately, like when we burn those items, it will produce carbon product. And carbon product, what kind of carbon product we are getting, we will see. We have to check through that torrification method, and ultimately that carbon product we can use in producing energies, another different types of energies, or we will supply to the industries to use those things. And it is not like we burn in an open field and all. No, it will be have a separate environment, separate mechanism, so that our environment will not be impacted, and ultimately we have a one solution to get overcome that residue, that is stubble. One method is torrification. So this technology. Now smog towers. What do you understand of smog towers? You have seen an advertisement of Kent. Kent are even supplying air purification. Like you have a AC, like you have a vegetable washer. Similarly, we have a air purifier of Kent company, and other various companies are doing that things. If we expand that product into a large one, that is something your smog towers. That is nothing but your smog tower. If we set up that device for a locality at a large extent, that will be nothing but your air purifier, and that is called your smog tower in a layman term. So it is a large physical infrastructure which takes polluted air and gives out purified air by absorbing all the pollutants. And so it is just like the air purifier getting for the home, and here it is for the large area. And a smog tower will be erected in the northern areas, but is restricted to a few kilometers. Everything has a restriction, and ultimately we have to work on it, because it will be very expensive to set for a large area with a large number. Okay, so that is the issue. We will overcome that. Smog towers, everything in the starting we have some limitations, but we will overcome that. So a smog tower have a limitation that it can spread up to 500 meters square to 2 kilometers square. And similarly WAYU is also wind augmentation purifying unit. It is the same, that is a small version of a smog tower. It is developed by CSIR, and working same like smog towers, and the area of influence in the area, that is 500 square kilometer for that WAYU, and it has a small effect of smog towers. It is just like a small version of smog towers. Now we will have a happy seeders. What is a happy seeders? See, it is saying we will not remove your stubble, we will let them in the ground, and in that ground where the stubble is present, we will sow seed in that land, and there is a benefit of that stubble. So when this is a land, you have a seed, seed, and you have a stubble here. So what will happen when you irrigate those land, or when the rain will come? After that, your water will not evaporate easily. Stubble will act as a filter. It will try to give moisture to the soil every time. It will help in retaining the moisture of the soil. That is the benefit. So that is something that happy seeders will do. That is, the machinery help in planting new seed with the presence of a stubble present on the land, and rather it increases the planting of wheat of crops while the stubble exists. It increases the planting of wheat crops, because see, it helps in checking the water vapor. Even it will provide you some important microorganisms, and it will supply you nutrients too. It will help in maintaining those nutrients and all. Even if the flood comes, it will help in checking those water. So this seed is spread over the farmland, and this start acting as a mulch. This is stubble. If you leave that stubble here, it will act as a mulch. Mulch is nothing but you are covering over the ground soil in order to conserve the soil moisture, and it prevents a protecting layer of the soil like a soil erosion and excessive evaporation. So if you spread those stubble, like removing it and all, and it will act as a mulch, and it will help in checking all this water through evaporation, and ultimately your irrigation will be irrigating the land with the water. If the rain is not there, will be reduced. Ultimately the cost of the production will reduced. That is something all that will call as a that will be done by happy seeders. So I hope you have understand the lecture. I've given my best. Please like and subscribe the channel. Your subscription is a form of payment for me. And if you have any suggestions, if you want any on-demand video lecture, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. Thank you.